Today's agenda is learning the lightning flow. And the scenario is that the moment I change the status of an opportunity to closed one, an order should automatically get created. And needless to say that this order would be linked to the current opportunity which got changed to closed one. So that is what we are going to see. So let's say I'm creating an opportunity. I'm choosing an account on it. Let's say the close date is 26. Stage is negotiation. I'm saving it. Right now you see that in the related, there are 0 orders. Now let's say I'm choosing a price book to discounted price book. I'm adding some products into it. Let's say the XL gowns and XL skirts. Doing a next, entering the quantity. Let's say 20 for each. And saving it. So this is the business opportunity that I have. I'm going to sell to Mountain Warehouse 20 XL gowns and 20 XL skirts. Now there is no order currently. Now, the moment I say that I've closed this deal and I won it and save it, in the related list, you see that this order, I didn't create it. This got created automatically. And what is in it is the order amount is same as the opportunity amount, which is 1200. This is the opportunity which we closed. This is the account linked. This is the start date, which was the closed date. I think we chose 27th here. And the status is draft. Why we can't make it active is because first we need to associate a contract. So for now, while we automatically create the order, we changed its status to draft. Now, just like we have opportunity line items related to the opportunity, similarly, we have opportunity products. So opportunity line items got copied in the opportunity product. So there we had selected 20 XL gowns and 20 XL skirts, right? So those got copied over here. And these are the unit price and list price and everything got copied. So this is what we have done. And this entire process of automatically creating an order and the order line items within it, this we have done using flow. Now how we have done, let's go to it. Now because this price book entry, products and all could be overwhelming sometimes, so let's start with the basics and I'll explain you things one by one. So let's suppose we have a business opportunity called Op1, and with whom do we have this opportunity? So let's suppose we have this opportunity with a clothing company called Mountain Warehouse. Now the business opportunity says that I'll be able to sell them 20 formal shirts and 20 formal trousers. So whenever I create products in my org, right, I get to decide that what are the price ranges that I want to offer to customers. Now, it's not necessary that I'll offer the same price range to all the customers, right? So let's say I have 3 different kinds of prices. One price range for my regular customers, one price range for my relatives, my friends, my regular customers who usually come to me. I would want to offer them a discounted price. And then there are third range of customers who buy goods in wholesale, like they buy a huge amount of stock from me. So I would want to offer them a wholesale price. So when we have different prices in mind for different people, we create price books in Salesforce. So you can just focus on this part. So let's say I have so this standard object called price book is already present in my Salesforce org. Let's say I create 3 different price books or price book records in Salesforce. Standard, which is already present, I don't need to create it, discounted and wholesale. So let's suppose the ID of these 3 price books are PB1, PB2, PB3. Okay. Now, because we need to sell something, we need to have product object, right? So product object is always present in the Salesforce, as you guys know. And let's create some records in the product object. So these are the 3 records that I have. So let's say I sell formal shirt, formal trousers, and a set of tie and belt. So let's say the IDs of these 3 um, records are P1, P2, and P3. Now there is a third object called price book entry. Now this is a junction object which exists between price book and product. So as you all know, that junction object always contains 2 parent objects, right? So one is this parent and the other is this as a parent. So how will the entries get created in the backend in this record is, it will have the product, it will have the price book, and it will have the price. So product comes from here, price book comes from here, and the price is what we enter as part of this record. So let's say these are the entries PB, price book entry 1, price book entry 2, and so on. So let's say the first record that we create is having the product as formal shirt. So I would say the ID is P1. So here I can write P1. Price book is, let's say, the standard one. So I'll say PB1. So in the backend, we have it like this. The ID of the records gets stored. So now, because these entries are for formal shirt, this is like now the discounted price book. So for discounted price book, the ID is PB2, right? So I would say PB2. And for wholesale, it's PB3. So I would say wholesale is PB3. Okay, so this was just an example to show you in the backend how it will be shown. But for simplicity, I'll keep it like this. So what am I saying is that for formal shirt in the standard price book, I'm going to offer $15. So let's suppose this is the formal shirts price book. Okay, now same thing for formal trouser. So if I'm selling a formal trouser at the standard price book, it's for $20. And if I'm selling the tie plus belt set at the standard price, then it would be $15. But if I use the discounted price range for all the 3 products, so for formal shirt in a discounted price book range, I'm going to offer a $12. For formal trouser, it's going to be $18. And for tie plus belt, I'm going to offer at $12 again. Now, the third kind of the price book that we have is wholesale. So I told you, if a customer buys a stock of goods from me, a lot of goods from me, I'm going to offer them wholesale price. So for formal shirt, I'm going to offer each formal shirt at $10 if they are buying a lot of stuff from me. Formal trouser, I'll keep it $15, and tie plus belt, I'll keep it as $10. So these are the entries that I have in backend. So these are the 9 records that we have in price book entry object. Okay. Now let me go to my OR. So let me show you the price books that I've created. So this is the wholesale price book that I created, and this is the discounted one. Like I told you, standard we don't need to create. Now let me go to the products. So I'll type products here. And these are the 3 products that I showed you, that we have formal shirt, formal trouser, tie and belt set. Let me go to the formal shirt first. So for this product, I am going to create 3 different types of prices, right? Like I told you, standard price I created from here. It's $15 per shirt. If I go for wholesale, it's like $10. And if I go for discounted price book, I'm offering them $12. Okay. Same thing I've done with the formal trouser. If I go with the standard price book, then I'm offering them $20. If I offer them the wholesale price, then it would be 15. And if I offer them the discounted, it would be somewhere in between these two, which is $18. Okay. This is how we have the product, and this is how we have the price book. This is the price book. These are the products, and these are the price book entries. Okay. Now we have this opportunity called Op1, and for this opportunity, now we'll choose a price book that we are going to apply. So let's say I'm going to sell it at discounted price to Warehouse 1, Mountain Warehouse account. So like you see here, let me enter the account as Mountain Warehouse. So this is a business opportunity that I am getting with this company, and I have chosen discounted price book for them. So I'm going to sell them the products that I have at a discounted price. Now, what all do I want to sell them? Let's say I don't want to sell them tie and belts. I'm just going to sell them the formal shirts and formal trousers. Now, like I said, or let's rather choose wholesale. Um, so I would go with a wholesale price book actually, because the numbers are better. And so now when I choose the wholesale price book, you would see that formal shirt goes for $10, trouser goes for 15, and tie and belt goes for $10 as well. So I'm only going to sell them the shirt and trouser, and I would do next. Now quantity. Now how many shirts am I going to sell them? So I told you in the beginning, 20 shirts and 20 trousers we are going to sell them, right? So we'll just select that and save it. Now this products too that you see here, that is actually an object called opportunity line item, which is a junction object between opportunity and product. So here, these two records that we see that are created, they are actually created in this object called opportunity line item or opportunity product. So let me open this for you. Now, what all fields does it have? It has a field called list price, opportunity ID, product code, unit price, quantity, total price, and yeah, that's about it. So let's see one by one what happens in the backend. Okay. Okay, before that, just 1 minute. Actually, there is one more field in the opportunity line item object, which is called price book entry. But somehow when you see that, try to see that field over here, you don't find it. But when you're trying to enter some value into it using the flow, you will need this field. So I'm just giving you a heads up. There's this field called price book entry. Now, what are we doing? We have selected the wholesale price book, right? So in the price book entry field that we have in our opportunity line item object, what is going to come? So like I told you to assume that there is this ID field, right? Now I've selected the wholesale price book. So I'm going to take all the records whose price book is wholesale. So I have these three in the green, right? So PBE3, price book entry 3, price book entry 6, and price book entry 9. 3, 6, and 9. These are the records that we'll take, or rather not 9, because we are not taking the tie plus belt, right? Now what will go in the product ID? In the PBE3, what is the product ID? Formal shirt. So we are just going to copy the formal shirt. This is how the record is in the backend. That's what I'm trying to say. And this is the formal trouser. Now, what is the unit price that we are offering? We are offering $10 for the formal shirt, right? Because this is a wholesale price book. And we're offering a $15 for the trouser, right? So that's what the opportunity line item is. And this is how it is stored. Now, list price is going to be more or less the same. Okay. Quantity, how many we are going to sell? 20, right? 20 of the shirts and 20 trousers. And which opportunity is this opportunity line item linked to? Both of them are linked to the same opportunity, which is opportunity 1. Actually, there'll be one more column over here, which would be total price. And that would be the, multiplication of the unit price into the quantity. So this would be 200, and this would be 300, right? So this is the total price field that we also have in opportunity line item. Now, when we create order automatically from the flow, we are going to create an order, and in order two, we have order line items, just like we have order opportunity line items. Similarly, we have order products. So in that order products, we are going to add these two products. Okay, so let's see how. So like I told you, order products, right? So if you remember the first example that I gave you, this order got automatically created, right? This order of opportunity one order got automatically created, but also along with the order products were also created automatically. So this is what I mean. So the opportunity line items that we have will get copied to the order products of the order that we create. So even this is what that we are going to do through flow. So let's see how we have done this flow. So now we'll quickly start with the flow. So what kind of a flow are we going to make? We are going to make a record triggered flow. Now, when is this going to fire? The moment we change the status of opportunity to closed one, right? So it would be on opportunity object. When a record is created or updated, that is because, you can even create an opportunity and close it right away, right? So we need to do it on both, created or updated. Is there a condition or a requirement? Yes, there is, right? What's the requirement? That the stage should be closed one. So I would say stage name equals closed one. Okay. What's the next thing? I want to perform some actions, but that would be after the record is saved, right? Because only after the opportunity is closed one, I would want to create order. So I would do after, uh, after trigger and then done. Okay. Now the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to create an order record. So I'll be writing create or records node, and I would say create order. Okay. And just one order. I'll use separate resources and literal values. Now, what object do I want to create? Order. So I would choose order here. Where am I getting the values from? First of all, what all do I need to put? Account ID. That would be the current records account ID, right? So this current record always gives you the current record's new value. Okay. Account ID. And I would choose ID from it. Here we go. Now this order, I want it to be linked to the opportunity, right? So give me a moment. Why can't I see the opportunity field? Okay, that we'll do later. Maybe I don't want to waste the time. The next field that I would want to enter is, I think, the price book that we have taken, right? So I would say price book ID. Here you go. what that would be. So in my example that I showed you, we said we are taking the wholesale price book, right? So that would come here when we select the price book ID. Then next is the contact ID. There's a field called customer authorized by. In that we'll select the contact ID that we have. Records, contact ID, customer authorized date. In that we'll put the records close date. So current opportunities close date, I'll put in the authorized date. Then there is this field called effective date. Let's make a formula field for this. So let's say the effective date will be, like when this order will be placed, would be, let's say 2 days from the close date. So I'll create a new resource here, a new variable of formula type, name it as effective date, would be date, and I'm going to say the close date, current records close date plus 2 days to it. Okay. What next? Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, status, right? Status field. We are going to set it to draft. So that's pretty much it. I'll do done. Save. Create order. Automatically. Okay. We'll do a save. Activate it. So let's go to this opportunity, for example. And let's say I am, okay, I might have already chosen a price book here. That's how we have the products. So what I'm going to do is, I've activated this flow, by the way. So here are my triggered flows. So I have activated this create order automatically. Yes, so I'm going to change its stage to closed one and save it. Okay. Now I go to the orders, all draft orders. You see the same account. Let me show you here. You will notice this was the account ID, right? So we took this account ID from this opportunity and we created an order automatically. But currently you saw that this opportunity had 3 line items, right? Certifications, keyboards, and books, but we don't have the order product. So next is that, how we are going to add that. So for that, let's go back to our flow. This time we'll get all the opportunity line items. So what am I going to say? I'm going to get the record. So I'll use a get records node. And I'll say get all opportunity line items. Okay. Now which all line item, which object, first of all, I want opportunity line item, right? So here is that opportunity product or opportunity line item. What would be the condition? All the opportunity line items whose opportunity is equal to the current record ID, right? So this is the current, or I could say the new value that we have in trigger, and this is the old value of that we have in trigger. So I would say the new values ID, and by the way, we are just taking the ID, so it doesn't matter if we take the old or the new. And then I would say record ID. Where am I going to, do I want only the first record? No, I want all the line items that are associated to this opportunity and store all the fields, and I'll do a done. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to create as many line items I have, those many order products, and copy all the details from my line items to my order, right? So that is what I'm going to do next. So I click plus. First of all, I need to loop through it, right? So let's go back to our example. So here we have two opportunity line items, right? So that's why it would be like two records, two order products that it has to create, but we can't do both of them at the same time. We need to iterate through one opportunity line item at a time. So we'll be using a looping. So here, loop through all opportunity line items. So when someone would read the name itself, they would come to know what are we doing here. Through what do we want to loop through? All the line items, right? That we got in the previous node. We want to go from the first item to last item. Get all opportunity line items was the name. So all the line items that I got here. So in our case, let's suppose OL1 and OLI2 that gets stored over here. I'm iterating it through both the records. This will work 2 times. Okay. So here you will see get all op line items. Okay. Now for each iteration that I go through, sorry, I think I was not sharing the screen. So 1 minute. What I was talking about, the OLI1 and OLI2 that I gave you an example, right? That the formal shirt and formal trousers. So these are the two opportunity line items that we have. Now we want to create order product for these two products, right? So that's why we are using a loop so that we can iterate through each one of the items. Okay, now the next thing that we are doing is iterating and creating order product, right? So for each line item that I get, I'm going to create a corresponding order product for it. So I'll go here and create record, create order product. How many records do I want to create at a time? Just one, right? At a time, we are creating one. So I'm saying use all values from a record. No, I'll say separate resources and literal. Now, which object am I creating? Order product, right? So I'll be like order product or order item. Now, which field will have what value? So let's go through it one by one. Now, order ID would be the order that we created earlier, right? Create order, if you remember. Order ID from create order. Let me show you. So here we created, in the first step itself, we created a order, right? So after it will create order, the ID will be stored here, and that same ID we are using here. Okay, so that order ID from create order, we are storing it in order ID. The next thing is, so this is the opportunity line item. I said we need to copy it to, okay, I don't think I'm sharing it. 1 minute. Okay, so Here you can see these fields I want to copy in my order product as well. So order ID is something that we did. Now the next thing would be price book entry, right? Here you see price book entry ID. So let me copy it. So I would say price book entry ID. Now what will come in that? The current opportunity line items. So this is the current opportunity line item, and I'm going to select its price book entry ID, right? Yes. Then the next thing would be the product ID. Here we go. Now, what are we going to take in it? We are going to take the current line items product ID. Okay. So the product ID is going to be this field. So is it a shirt or is it a trouser? Then the next thing is the unit price, right? So let's go with the unit price field in my order object. So again, current line items, unit price. And then we should have the list price as well, right? Like I told you, unit price and list price are the same, but we need to put that field. So we'll say list price in the order would come from the current line items list price. Next would be the quantity. Okay. Now even that is stored in our current opportunity line item. So let me take the quantity from there, okay? And then we have, what else? I think that's pretty much it. Let me confirm it with an existing flow that I have created. List price, order ID, price book entry, unit price. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'll do done. Not needed, done. Okay, save as a new version and activate. Okay, let me go back to this opportunity, or let's rather create a new one. I would name it as opportunity 2. Okay, close date, let's say we'll keep it today's date. Stage would be, let's say, perception analysis for now, and let's save it. Let's go to the related. We choose the wholesale price book. Okay, let's add the products as formal shirt and formal trouser. Do next. 20 each, right? So 20 and 20, and I would do a save. So now we see opportunity line items have got created. Let me go to the details. Okay, fine. Now let me change the stage from perception analysis to closed one. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I have an error. Let me check. Okay, so I think it tells us that the account ID is missing. So let's go to our flow and add one more field here and link it. Okay, probably not here in the order product then. 1 minute. Okay, I got it. So the issue was that we did not have an account here. And so that's the problem. We should have handled it, which we'll do next. But for now, you can just enter an account. And now let's change its stage, because when we create a order, right, account field is, I think, mandatory, and account was blank. So that's why it was throwing an error. So now when I've saved it, let me go to the order object. And here we see in the details, when I come, I have an order created with its account name populated, start date as 2 days from the close date. So there the close date and opportunity was 25th. That's why the start date is 2 days from then. Status was draft. And how did the amount came is because we copied the opportunity line item into opportunity products and we created them, right? So yes, so that's what we have done. And by the way, I made a mistake here. We should never create records over here. We should have done it like this. Create a variable order products. Data type would be a record, rather a collection of records. Which object? Order, right? Because we have multiple order products, order product. Now, because we'll have two order products, so anything more than one, we need to check this collection option so that it would act like a list of order products. Just done. Okay. So here we could have, rather than doing this, we could have created a record assignment. And actually one more, temporary order product. So for each iteration, we would use this record, which object? Order product. Okay. So when I'll come here, instead of creating the record inside the loop, I will use assignment, assign values in temp order product. Okay. Now in the temp order product, here you go. I'm going to enter all those values that I have used in the create record. So first is the order ID. Its value would be my current line items order ID, right? So current line items. Sorry, not the current line items. The order that we created, order ID from the create order. Okay. Next would be the price book entry. That would be current line items, price book entry ID. Then would be product. equals current line items, product ID. Okay. Then unit price, list price, and quantity. So I'd go temp order product, unit price, current line items, unit price. List price, going to take from the current opportunities line item, list price, and then finally the quantity, temp order products quantity. Here we go. That would be equals current line items quantity. Okay, so that's about it. So this one I would keep it, and this one we'll delete it. Okay, so there were two opportunity line items. So it will iterate two times. Opportunity line item 1 record will get created. Then opportunity line item 2 record will get created. But we need to retain those values, right? So after we create one record of the opportunity product, we'll add it in the list. So we'll use one more assignment here. And we'll add this in the list. Add order products. Or let's say collect all order products. Okay. And in which one we are going to assign all in the order products, and instead of equals we'll add the current temp order product, and I'll do done. And at the end we'll insert that list, right? List of records, we'll just do insert once at the end. So I'll do a create a records, and now name it create order products. How many records we want to create? Multiple at a time, right? So I'm going to select order products, do done, save as a new version, and activate. So here we go. Let's create a new opportunity of 3. Close date, let's say tomorrow. Account name, let's say Mountain Warehouse. Stages, for now this one. Let me save it. Let me go to the related. This time let me choose the standard price book and save it. Let me add the products. Did we not add it? Okay, maybe let's choose some other price book for now. Discounted. Okay, and let me add formal shirt, formal trouser. Let's say this time we are selling 40, or yeah, let's keep it 20 for now. Let's save it. Okay. So here is our opportunity amount, which is $600. So the moment I change its stage to closed one, and I go to the order, here I can see one more new order got created whose amount is 600. And let me go to the details and check. Yeah, it is the same thing. Let me go to the related. So we see now this time for the formal shirt per piece price is 12 and trouser is 18. So these opportunity line items got copied to the order products. So this is about it. There's one more part to it. Like we saw that the order got created, but we did not add the current opportunity ID to it, right? Because we were not able to find the opportunity field over here. So why it happens is this is a known issue. You need to go to the opportunity field in the order object and give the field level access. Even if you're a system admin, you have to do it. I go here. I click on create order node. I'll add the opportunity ID here. Now I can see it. And that would be my current records ID, right? And done. Save as a new version and activate. Refresh. Let me go to the opportunity. Create a new opportunity. Close date, stage, and let's save it. Let's enter the account name as Mountain Warehouse and save it. Go to the related. Currently, there are no orders. Choose a price book, let's say discounted. Add products, let's say this and this. Do a next, let's say for 10 each. Save. And let's change the stage to close to 1. Now let's go to the related. Now, because this order is linked to the opportunity, that's why in the orders related list of opportunity object, I can see this new order that is created. And as usual, the details of order are as it is. And the line items that we had in the opportunity got copied in the line items on order object. So that's about it. If this video helps, if you understood it, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. There's actually one more part to it. So let's say while creating a record or by getting the error, getting the records, if there is any error, we need to handle that, right? So let's add a fault path. This is how we do error handling in Flow. So if everything goes fine, it will go here. But if there is any error, like we saw there was an error, right? When we were not entering the account. So that time it will execute this node. What are we doing here? Let's say we'll post a chatter message. So we'll do an action and chatter, post to chatter. Create order error. Okay. And what are we going to say? Error while creating order. And on which account do we, or on which record do we want to post this error on? So current opportunities ID. So I'll select that. And maybe the message wouldn't be this. I would select whatever is the error, right? If I want that error to display, I would say select the fault message. Okay. If we get an error while getting the line items, I'm going to say add fault path. I would say again action post to chatter, get line items error. Again, in the message, we'll show the fault message. So there it goes, flow dot fault message, where in the current record ID, right? So I would say current record ID. Done. And the last one is over here. So again, action, post to chatter, create order product error, again flow fault message, and would be on this message we are going to paste on the chatter of the current opportunity. So that's why I am saying this, and done. Okay, so now we have handled the error in all the possible nodes. Why we have not added it in others? Because there'll be no error as such. It's only when you interact with the database there are more possibilities of errors.